The sky over Earth was quiet, too quiet. It was an ordinary night in a bustling city, the kind of night where the world seemed to be at peace. But that peace was about to be shattered. Captain Sarah Grayson sat at her command station, staring at the data streams flashing across her monitor. The world's defenses were on high alert after the recent rise in alien activity around the galaxy, but no one had expected this. It was just another normal night, until the sky changed. It started with a strange signal that appeared on her radar. At first, it seemed like nothing to worry about, just another glitch, another anomaly. But as seconds passed, the signal didn't disappear. Instead, it grew stronger. Sarah leaned forward, her eyes narrowing as she scanned the data. The signal was coming from deep in space, far beyond the reach of Earth's defenses. And then, it happened. A massive alien warship decloaked right above the Earth's atmosphere. The ship was so large that it blocked out the stars. It was something that no human had ever seen before, sleek, metallic, and dark as if it were a shadow hanging over the Earth. Sarah's heart skipped a beat. There was no way this could be happening. Not now. Not like this. Alert the fleet. Now. Sarah barked into her comm, but it was too late. Before any defense systems could respond, the alien ship unleashed its first wave. High-tech bombers, sleek and deadly, dropped down from the belly of the ship, their engines roaring with power. They released a barrage of energy blasts that hit the ground with devastating force, tearing apart buildings and sending shockwaves through the streets. The first explosion lit up the city like a fiery star, and panic spread instantly. Sarah's mind raced. This wasn't just an attack, this was an invasion. The aliens had come to Earth, and they weren't here for peace. As the explosions continued, Sarah's team scrambled into action, trying to intercept the alien ships. But they were outmatched. The alien ships moved like ghosts, cloaking themselves in the atmosphere and appearing only to strike, then disappearing again before Earth's military could retaliate. Every time the humans thought they had the upper hand, the aliens would vanish again, only to strike from another direction. Sarah's thoughts were interrupted by a voice on the comms, frantic and panicked. "Captain, we can't lock onto them. Their ships they're cloaked. We can't target them." The words hit like a punch to the gut. Cloaking devices. That was something Earth had only seen in sci-fi movies, never in real life. The enemy had technology that could make them invisible, practically undetectable. And this wasn't just any small fleet, this was a massive warship with an army of alien soldiers, robots, and advanced weaponry. Earth's military was still scrambling to react, unable to match the enemy's speed or technology. "Captain, we need backup," yelled Lieutenant Mendez from the communication panel. "The capital's defenses are failing. We need reinforcements, now." Sarah could hear the desperation in Mendez's voice. The first wave of bombers had already crippled the capital. She had to act fast. "Send all available units to the capital and get the Air Force ready to deploy. We're going to need everything we've got." But just as Sarah was about to give her orders, a massive energy blast hit the military base she was stationed at, knocking out all power and communications. The screens around her went black, the emergency lights flashing red as alarms blared through the station. "Captain." Mendez's voice came through in a panicked shout. "We've lost all contact with the outside. The grid's gone down." The alien ship, now fully visible, hovered above Earth like a terrifying monster. Its size was beyond anything the humans had ever seen. There was no way the Earth could fight back against something this powerful, this advanced. Humanity had faced battles before, but nothing like this. This was a war they weren't prepared for. And as the alien ships rained fire upon Earth's surface, Sarah realized with a sinking feeling that this was just the beginning. The people of Earth had no idea how to fight against this level of technology. The military scrambled to mobilize, but their weapons and defenses were nothing compared to the aliens' superior technology. The soldiers fought bravely, but it was clear that the aliens were on another level. They had cloaking devices that made them invisible, robotic soldiers that never stopped, and weapons that could wipe out entire cities in seconds. The camera zoomed in on Sarah's face, her brow furrowed with determination but filled with worry. She had seen the chaos unfolding outside, but there was no time to hesitate. She knew that this was humanity's darkest hour. But what she didn't know was that a hidden hope still remained. A human-made AI, once thought useless, had just been activated. "Prepare for impact," Sarah whispered to herself. "We can still win this." As Earth's defenders braced for more destruction, the first sign of a counterattack appeared, a signal from their hidden AI defense system. The system, dormant for years, suddenly came to life. But could it be enough? Could humanity fight back against an enemy that had the power to cloak, to annihilate, to destroy? The battle for Earth had begun, and the stakes had never been higher. But one thing was certain, the fight had only just started, and humanity was not going to give up without a fight. The alien ship hovered above the Earth, an ominous shadow against the dark sky. Below, chaos reigned. The city, once full of life, was now a battleground. Explosions rocked the streets, and the sound of sirens filled the air as people ran for cover. The alien warships continued to strike with terrifying precision, their cloaking technology making them nearly impossible to track. Earth's defenses were in disarray, and humanity was scrambling for survival. Captain Sarah Grayson stood at the center of the military command, her face grim. She had never imagined Earth would face an enemy like this. The aliens were unlike any force the humans had encountered before. Their weapons were too powerful, their ships too fast. No one had been prepared for this kind of war. But despite the odds, Sarah refused to give in to despair. "We're not done yet," Sarah said, her voice steady. "Get me a full report on our remaining forces." Her team scrambled to respond. The communications were patchy, and most of the military's infrastructure was down. But through the chaos, Sarah learned that only a few defense units remained operational. Earth's top military bases had been destroyed in the initial attack, and most of the cities were in ruins. The only hope left for humanity was to make a last stand at the remaining strongholds. "All available forces are mobilizing to the last remaining bunkers," Lieutenant Mendez reported. "But our anti-air defenses are limited, and the aliens are advancing faster than expected." Sarah clenched her fists. She knew the situation was dire, but she couldn't afford to lose hope. If humanity was to survive, this was the moment to make a stand. "We need to hold them off," Sarah said. "For as long as we can. All fighter jets, get in the air and cover our troops. We'll take the fight to them." The decision was made. Despite the overwhelming odds, Earth's soldiers were ready to fight back. As the skies lit up with more energy blasts, Sarah and her team quickly coordinated a counteroffensive. Fighter jets soared into the sky, their engines roaring as they took on the cloaked alien ships. But the aliens had one advantage that humanity could never match: their ships could disappear and reappear in an instant, making them nearly impossible to hit. One by one, the human pilots were picked off, their jets torn apart by advanced alien weaponry. The soldiers on the ground fought bravely, but their weapons barely made a dent in the alien armor. The robots that the aliens deployed were unstoppable, cutting through human defenses like a hot knife through butter. But amid the destruction, something unexpected happened. Earth's military leaders, desperate and outnumbered, turned to the last hope they had left: a hidden weapon that had been kept under wraps for years. It was a secret project, one that no one knew existed until now. A powerful AI designed to fight the aliens. It had been in development for years, but humanity never thought it would come to this. The AI had been kept dormant, waiting for the right moment. And now, that moment had arrived. "We've activated the AI," Mendez said, her voice filled with a mixture of hope and fear. "It's online. Sarah's eyes widened. The AI could be their game changer. If it worked as designed, it might just turn the tide of the battle. The AI was capable of analyzing alien technology, learning their patterns, and anticipating their moves. For the first time, humanity had a chance to strike back. But there was one problem. The AI needed to be integrated with Earth's defense systems, and those were in ruins. The only way to get it operational was to connect it to the main military command center, but the building was under heavy alien bombardment. "We're going to need to move quickly," Sarah said, her voice filled with urgency. "We have to get to the command center and upload the AI's data. It's our last chance." Sarah led a small team of soldiers, making their way through the devastated city toward the command center. The streets were littered with debris, and the air was thick with smoke. The sounds of alien ships echoing above them made it feel like the world was closing in. As they neared the building, they saw a group of soldiers fighting valiantly to hold back the alien invaders. It was clear they were outmatched, but they weren't giving up. The soldiers were using everything they had, from conventional weapons to makeshift explosives, to try to slow down the alien forces. Sarah and her team joined the fight, pushing forward despite the overwhelming odds. Each step was a struggle, but they couldn't stop. The fate of humanity depended on them. When they finally reached the command center, Sarah and Mendez worked quickly to connect the AI to the military network. It wasn't easy. The system was heavily damaged, and the aliens were closing in. But somehow, they managed to get the AI online and ready for deployment. "AI is fully integrated," Mendez reported, her voice filled with hope. "We're ready to launch." With a deep breath, Sarah nodded. "Then let's do this." The AI began to analyze the incoming alien ships, calculating their movements with perfect precision. It fed the information directly to Earth's remaining defense forces, allowing them to predict the enemy's next move. For the first time in the battle, humanity had the advantage. The tables were beginning to turn. But Sarah knew they couldn't stop there. This was only the beginning. The battle was far from over. Humanity had made its last stand, but the fight was just getting started. As the first shots from Earth's new counteroffensive rang out, Sarah glanced at the sky. The alien warships were still there, looming overhead, but now humanity had a fighting chance. And with that, Sarah felt a spark of hope, even if it was small. Humanity wasn't finished yet. Not by a long shot. The air was thick with tension as humanity's last hope for survival rested on the thin shoulders of a single plan, the final assault. Captain Sarah Grayson stood on the rooftop of a shattered building, staring up at the dark, swirling clouds above. Alien warships filled the sky, each one bristling with weapons that could obliterate entire cities in a single blast. But now, humanity had something the aliens had never expected, an advantage. The AI was online, and Earth's forces were beginning to fight back, taking down enemy ships one by one. But it wasn't enough. Not yet. They needed to end this, once and for all. "Sarah," Lieutenant Mendez's voice crackled through her earpiece. "The final assault is ready. We've got all remaining forces in position. The AI is locked onto the main alien flagship, but we only get one shot. If we miss, we're finished." Sarah clenched her jaw. They couldn't afford to miss. The flagship was the heart of the alien invasion. If they took it down, the rest of the alien forces would crumble. If they failed, Earth would fall. "Understood," Sarah said. "Tell everyone to hold their positions. This is it." The sound of engines revving and the hum of weaponry charging echoed across the battlefield. On the ground, soldiers were preparing for the biggest fight of their lives. The alien invaders had underestimated humanity, and now they were going to pay for it. But even with the AI's help, the odds were still stacked against them. The alien ships were massive, and their firepower was far superior to anything humanity had ever known. Sarah gathered her remaining team. They were going to lead the final push. Along with Mendez and a small group of elite soldiers, they made their way through the crumbling city streets, heading toward the command center, where the final strike would be coordinated. As they moved, explosions rained down from above, the force of each blast shaking the ground beneath their feet. They reached the center of the city, and Sarah could feel the weight of the moment pressing down on her. They were the last line of defense. If they succeeded, humanity would be saved. If they failed, it was over. The alien forces were swarming. Their ships filled the sky like a dark cloud, their weapons firing relentlessly at the remaining human defenses. The soldiers fighting on the ground were holding their own, but it was clear they were running out of time. Humanity needed to launch the final assault before the aliens could regroup and strike again. Locking onto the flagship now, Mendez's voice came through again. "We're ready to fire." "Fire everything," Sarah commanded, her voice unwavering. The sky erupted with a blaze of light as Earth's last weapons fired, aiming directly for the heart of the alien fleet. The AI had calculated the perfect strike, and for the first time, the humans could see their plan taking shape. The massive energy blasts hit the alien flagship with an earth-shattering explosion, sending shockwaves through the battlefield. The flagship's shields flickered, but they held. For a moment, it seemed like the strike hadn't done enough. But then, the flagship began to break apart. Slowly at first, then all at once. Its engines flared and exploded, sending debris scattering through the sky. A cheer went up from the human forces on the ground. They had done it. They had taken down the heart of the alien invasion. Direct hit. "The flagship is down," Mendez shouted. "We've got them. They're retreating." But Sarah knew it wasn't over yet. There were still thousands of enemy ships out there, and if the alien command structure was still intact, they would rally and fight again. The battle wasn't won until every last alien invader was defeated. The AI continued to analyze the remaining alien ships, and the humans took advantage of the momentary confusion. Fighter jets, once barely able to hold their own against the alien technology, now swooped down from the skies, hitting the disoriented invaders with everything they had. The AI provided real-time guidance, allowing the fighters to dodge incoming fire and strike with perfect precision. On the ground, the human soldiers pushed forward, their morale soaring with the fall of the flagship. But they knew they couldn't stop. Not until every last alien was defeated. As Sarah watched the destruction unfold, she felt a surge of hope. They were winning. Against all odds, humanity was standing strong. She knew this would be a battle to remember. Generations to come would speak of this day, of how humanity had fought back against impossible odds, using its ingenuity, its spirit, and its sheer willpower to survive. "Keep pushing forward," Sarah ordered, her voice full of resolve. "We finish this now." The ground shook as another massive explosion tore through the sky, but Sarah didn't flinch. This was the moment of truth. The final assault had begun. And humanity was determined to win. But as the battle raged on, Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. The enemy ships were retreating, but they weren't fleeing. They were regrouping. And that was when Sarah saw it. Another massive ship, larger than anything they had encountered, appeared from the shadows of the atmosphere. It was a ship unlike anything she had seen before, alien technology that dwarfed even the flagship. The final battle wasn't over yet. The alien reinforcements had arrived. The appearance of the massive alien ship sent a chill down Sarah's spine. It was unlike anything they had ever seen, a gargantuan warship that seemed to absorb the light around it. It was cloaked in a veil of darkness, as though the very fabric of space was bending around it. The alien technology was far beyond anything humanity had, and it made the remaining enemy ships look like toys. This was the ultimate weapon, the last card the aliens were playing, and if they lost this battle, there would be no coming back. "Commander, we're getting readings," Mendez's voice crackled through Sarah's earpiece. "The ship is powering up. It's going to fire soon." Sarah's mind raced. They didn't have time. Earth's forces were scattered, and their remaining weapons were severely depleted after the previous battles. The AI was still helping to target and guide attacks, but it wasn't enough to take down a ship of that size. Humanity's last line of defense, her team, was all that stood between the Earth and total destruction. Where are the reinforcements? Sarah barked, scanning the sky for any sign of backup. We need backup now. There was a long pause before Mendez responded, his voice thick with urgency. There's nothing. They're all gone, Sarah. It's just us. We have to finish this. Sarah's heart skipped a beat. There were no more allies left. It was up to them, the last few soldiers on the ground, to stop the alien supership. The weight of the responsibility felt unbearable. She took a deep breath and steadied herself. She was the captain now. It was time to make a choice. We do this, together, she said, her voice steadied despite the fear building inside her. We can't afford to fail. The air was filled with the roar of engines as the remaining human fighters broke formation, racing toward the alien ship in a desperate attempt to close the gap. Missiles and laser blasts filled the sky, but they barely scratched the surface of the alien ship's powerful shields. Sarah watched in horror as one by one, the human fighters were shot down by the alien warship's relentless firepower. But she couldn't stop. They couldn't stop. Every single human alive depended on their success. The only way to defeat the aliens now was to breach the enemy ship and plant a weapon inside that would destroy it from within. Sarah, we've got one shot at this, Mendez's voice was urgent now, nearly frantic. There's a small opening in their shields. It's barely enough, but if we can get a team inside. We're in, Sarah cut him off, her voice sharp. Prepare to deploy the ground team. The plan was risky. Insane, even. But it was the only option they had left. They had to infiltrate the supership and plant a bomb inside. The humans didn't have the luxury of time, and they didn't have enough firepower to bring the ship down from the outside. The aliens had proven just how deadly their technology was, but they had also shown one weakness, their arrogance. They thought they were untouchable. And now, humanity would prove them wrong. Sarah and her team moved quickly, staying low as they approached the alien ship's landing zone. The ground shook with the sound of explosions, but they couldn't afford to be distracted. They had a mission to complete. As they neared the alien ship, they could see it clearly for the first time. It was a massive structure, twisting spires and jagged edges covered its surface. The design was alien in every sense of the word, yet there was an unsettling beauty to it. It was clear that this ship wasn't just a weapon, it was a work of art. But Sarah didn't have time to admire the ship. She was focused on the task at hand. On my signal, we move, Sarah ordered, her team nodding in agreement. They were ready. Every last one of them had fought through hell to get here, and they wouldn't stop now. The opening in the alien ship's shield was their only chance. If they missed it, they were dead. The team moved quickly, darting between explosions and laser blasts, each of them narrowly avoiding the deadly fire of the alien ship. They reached the shield's opening and entered, barely making it through before the shield closed behind them. Inside, the alien ship was like nothing they had ever seen. The walls were smooth and metallic, pulsing with an eerie, otherworldly glow. It was cold, sterile, almost alive in its own way. The team was silent, moving quickly through the ship's corridors, weapons raised and ready. They knew they didn't have much time before the aliens noticed their presence. "This is it," Mendez whispered, looking around at the strange alien technology that powered the ship. "We plant the bomb here, and the whole thing goes up." Sarah nodded. There was no turning back. They planted the bomb deep inside the ship, making sure it was in the perfect spot to cause maximum damage. With only minutes left, they began to move toward the exit. "Time to go," Sarah ordered, her heart pounding in her chest. The countdown had already begun. But as they made their way back toward the exit, something unexpected happened. The alien ship's AI systems activated, locking down the corridors. The team was trapped. "We're not getting out that way," Mendez said, panic creeping into his voice. Sarah's mind raced. There was only one way out now, and it was going to take everything they had to survive. The final showdown had begun.